Hey basketball players, today I am going to talk to you about Deni Avdija. I probably butchered that name, but anyways, today we are going to be breaking down his offensive game and how it's going to be able to translate into the NBA. Let's get down and let's check out Deni. So the first thing we are going to be looking at is his playmaking abilities. So what we see here really quickly is he was able to beat his initial defender off the dribble. Now his defender is behind him. Now one of the ways that he could do this in the NBA, because he will be blowing by a couple of defenders in the NBA, is to get them in jail, which is to take a quick step in front of them, which then allows this player to be basically in jail and he's unable to be able to defend that player at all. However, he doesn't do that, but he does draw up the secondary defender and a help defender. What does this do for him? This allows Deni to be able to pass the ball to this player who is playing in what we call, or at least a lot of the older coaches in Canada will call, the Russian spot. And he's able to dump off that pass, and now that player is able to finish with a massive dunk. In the screen and pop, or the screen and roll, whatever you want to call it, he's able to really keep his head up and to scan the surroundings. He's able to see what's going on, and because of that, this player could have rolled towards the basket, but he didn't. What he did do was he popped off of that screen. His defender, initial defender, followed and hedged quite hard on Deni, and Deni's able to capitalize on that, pass that ball out to a waiting three-point shooter. If Deni's able to get onto an NBA team with a big man who can shoot, this play right here, a simple screen and pop, could be a very deadly play with Deni. Also, if he gets onto a team that has a lot of off-ball movement, something similar to the San Antonio Spurs or the Golden State Warriors, what we are going to see is a lot of plays like this, where he's able to pass that ball into a cutting player, a very good pass. And why it's a really good pass is because it's a one-handed pass. He doesn't catch with two hands and then pass. He passes with one hand. This is something that we need to teach all of our players if you're a coach. And because of that, that player is able to finish with a left-handed layup. He's also able to thread that needle to the rolling defender. So when this player hedged really hard and that offensive screening player was able to roll towards the rim, he is able to thread that pass. That is not an easy pass to get through. And he's able to put it into a spot so that the other player on his team, the player who's rolling towards the basket, is able to then score an easy layup. Now in the NBA, that may have ended up being a dunk depending on the big man who is with Deni, but again, a very notable play and a very notable pass. Now Deni does play the guard position in the NBA most likely, and he may be able to then also move down into the small forward position as well. And from there, we do see that he is able to beat a lot of defenders off the dribble, even though this is not the NBA, and he's able to finish with finesse, very light hands off the backboard. We're able to see this again in this play. He's able to get past that bigger defender by using his size, and he's able to finish very lightly off that backboard. This is a skill that will definitely translate into the NBA. He also utilizes one last big step to be able to get past his defender as well. So Deni is over here in this next clip, and this is something that you have to see more of in the NBA. We see a lot of European players coming over who are doing this, and we need to start teaching a lot of our players to do this as well, is to move off ball. When your main defender comes out, of course, this looks like a zone-style defense potentially, but the main defender on your side pops out to play help defense, you need to cut baseline. And the reason for that is because you're going to get an open layup or dunk very easily. Now, this is a great actual strategy that you can use against a zone defense, but we do see Deni over here, and what he's able to do here is we get that ball, or they get that ball into the high post. That draws up this defender here, And now Deni is able to cut baseline, and we see that right here, where he cuts baseline because they got that ball in the high post, which collapsed that defense, and he had basically a wide open baseline to be able to cut and finish with a layup. I will say, however, that he better start finishing these layups as dunks, because in the NBA, especially if you have somebody like a Serge Ibaka who is coming over, that is going to be a 100% blocked shot. So, make sure to finish with a dunk. Now, I did just recently break down Deni's shooting form, and of course his percentage isn't extravagantly high, but he is a very competent three-point shooter. He knows when to take his shots and where to take his shots. But also something about Deni is his shooting form. It won't take much for him to make it into a deadly knockdown shot. It's not like a LaMelo or Alonzo Ball three-point style shooting form that needs a lot of work. It is, I would say, 95% of the way there. And, of course, if he can get his shooting percentage up into that close to 40% range, he is going to be a very deadly player in the NBA. I hope that this breakdown has helped you find out more about Deni. If it has, hit that like button and subscribe. And, of course, if it has helped you become a better basketball player, hit that like button and subscribe as well. I'll see you guys again next time.